Chapter 1. The Chow family has a fake family member. Rao City's weather in June was like a stove. The scorching sun created layers of heat waves on the asphalt road. It was so hot that no one was seen on the streets. Xiao Nian came out of the room dragging her newly packed luggage. She could already hear Xiao Chen's chatter before she was downstairs. Mom and Dad, are Xiao Nian's biological parents really coming to pick her up? Father Xiao sternly replied. It's none of your business. Are you done practicing for the piano piece you're performing later? Your grandmother's friend will be coming from Beijing. She's a humanities professor and a national pianist. If you perform well, and with the help of your grandmother, your application to a university in Beijing will be settled. I have been practicing. Before Xiao Nian headed down, she heard Xiao Chen whining again. Dad, what do you think sister's biological parents look like? She innocently rambled on. Her biological parents said they were coming the day before, yet they're only arriving today. Could it be that they took a train from a ravine to come here? Xiao Nian couldn't help but pause in her footsteps, feeling insulted. 3 months ago, she unknowingly found out that her dear sister Xiao Chen and her boyfriend were having an intimate relationship and cheating on her. She couldn't hold back her anger and expose the matter, only to find out that she wasn't part of the Qiao family, but just a foster child that they adopted from the orphanage. The Qiao family didn't adopt her because they wanted to do a good deed. Adds by Pup Future. It was because Xiao Chen was born with a rare blood disease. Other than taking medications, she also required blood transfusions every month. The Qiao family ran a company that was successfully listed last year, so they were considered well-known in Rao City. If Xiao Chen's illness could be treated with money, it would save the Qiao family from trouble. Unfortunately, other than being born with illness, Xiao Chen also had the rare Rh blood type. Only 1 in 100,000 would inherit such a blood type. Because it was so rare, hospitals called this blood type the panda blood. It meant that it was more precious than a panda. The Qiao family had the financial capability, but it wasn't certain that the hospital would have enough blood for Xiao Chen every month. Thus, the Qiao family came up with the idea of adopting a child with a matching blood type from an orphanage to act as a blood bag for Xiao Chen. She was that free blood bag. From a young age, Xiao Nian had been taught to be a good sister by giving the pretty clothes and the awards to her younger sister. If it wasn't for the matter between Xiao Chen and Fu Ge, she would still be kept in the dark. The Qiao family told her about it only because Xiao Chen had almost fully recovered after receiving the treatment in the past years, and no longer required medication or blood transfusion. She was of no use anymore. Grandma Qiao was also so upset that she blew up the matter between Xiao Chen and Fu Ge at Xiao Chen's birthday party. So they exposed her identity in front of everyone to save Xiao Chen and the Qiao family's reputation. Father Qiao didn't want to talk about Xiao Nian. Stop talking. Xiao Chen replied defiantly. I'm not wrong. If they could afford the flight tickets, they would have been here by now. They're probably paupers. Enough. Father Qiao saw Xiao Nian coming down and softly stopped her. The first thing that came into sight was her wild face. She was wearing a light blue t-shirt with a red and white striped flannel, the hem casually tucked into her denim shorts, revealing a pair of fair and slim legs. Everyone in the family had a fair complexion, but Xiao Nian was even fairer. Due to how fair she was, Xiao Nian's eyes seemed extra dark. When he looked at her, Xiao Weiman always felt a sense of distance from her. Adds by Pup Future. It was probably because she wasn't his biological daughter. Nian Nian, are you done packing your stuff? Father Qiao asked her gently. After all, they had raised her for more than 10 years. Xiao Nian came down with her light luggage and nodded. When Xiao Chen saw her, she immediately acted as if nothing happened and shouted, Sister. Xiao Nian couldn't be bothered to reply to her, and walked past her directly. Xiao Chen was upset by being ignored by Xiao Nian. She looked down pouting, her pale face as delicate as white flowers in the wind. Witnessing this, He Yujuan's face darkened. Holding her crutches, she scolded. Chen Chen is talking to you, can't you hear? Xiao Chen immediately took her hand, shook her head, and tried to put in a good word for her. Grandma, it's fine. Sister isn't in a good mood. I'm all right. Hearing what she said, He Yujuan's impression of Xiao Nian became worse. She spoke to her in disgust. It's no doubt you aren't a child of the Qiao family. You still can't get rid of the pettiness after so many years. Mom, Xiao Weiming pleaded. He then walked towards Xiao Nian and handed her a card. Here's 10,000 yuan. He sighed and insisted that Xiao Nian take it. Take it. When you go back, you have to be obedient. Use it to buy some clothes. In the future you may need it for your studies too. He had always been careful. This was a critical period for the Qiao family, as they just received a development project from the government. It was best not to create unnecessary problems. He once investigated Xiao Nian's biological parents. They had the surname Jiang, worked as teachers, and were from Luohe County. Luohe County was 300 kilometers from Rao City, a notoriously poor area. Every year, entrepreneurs would donate to Luohe County as part of poverty alleviation. He had donated before as well. Xiao Nian was already in third year of high school. When she returned to Luohe County, it was almost impossible for her to get into a university. This was unlike Xiao Chun, who was able to study at Beijing University after completing high school in Rao City. Her life would be completely ruined. Chapter 2, She's my fiancé too. He couldn't bear to, but he stuffed the card into Xiao Nian's hand anyway. He looked up at her and asked gently, "Have you gotten all your things? You can take the necklace that I got you for your 10th birthday with you. I gave it to you, so it's yours now. You can take it." He Yujuan furrowed her brows and eyed Xiao Nian unhappily. Because of her place in the family, He Yujuan did not have the cheek to mention anything about the 3,000 yuan necklace. Xiao Chen stood by her side obediently and added on, "That's right, sister. Since Dad already gave it to you, just take it. Perhaps you'll need it in the future." She didn't make herself clear, but Xiao Nian knew what she was getting at. Xiao Nian glanced at her coldly. Xiao Chen gave her an elegant smile in return. That high and mighty expression was practically carved onto every other Qiao family member. Xiao Nian picked her bag up and handed the card back to Qiao Weiman, saying expressionlessly, "I left the necklace in the drawer. You guys can look for it if you don't believe me. Besides the notebook I bought for myself, I didn't take anything from the Qiao family." The expressions of the Qiao family members turned a little awful, especially He Yujuan and Mother Qiao, who hadn't even bothered to say anything. Xiao Nian was as disobedient as a child could get, and constantly made things difficult for the people around her. Xiao Chen glanced at Xiao Nian's bag, and her eyes glinted. "Sister, that's not what Dad, Mom, and Grandma meant. You're too sensitive. We've lived together for over 10 years. Even though you've found your biological parents, you're still my sister. We hope that you'll live well in the future too. If you don't want the necklace, at least keep the 10,000 yuan that Dad gave you. Luohe County is very different from Rao City. You'll need to spend more there." Qiao Weiman added with a frown, "That's right, keep the money. I don't need it." She had some money of her own. Xiao Nian didn't keep his card, and didn't intend to have anything to do with the Qiao family anymore. At this point her cell phone rang. She placed the bank card that Qiao Weiman had given her on the table, and then looked at the phone screen. She then said to the Qiao family members, "My family is here, I'll leave first." He Yujuan scoffed as she watched Xiao Nian leave. She remarked sarcastically, "Humph, what an ingrate. You've raised her for over 10 years, and she didn't even bother thanking you before leaving." "Grandma, sister is perhaps too excited to see her biological parents," Xiao Chen said gently. "Too bad. Xiao Nian's biological parents were just peasants who couldn't even enter their villa. What a joke. Sister said she only took her notebook with her, but her bag looked so packed and heavy. It didn't look like it only contained a notebook." Father Qiao shook his head and sighed hypocritically. "Forget it, we've raised her for over a decade anyway. Let her take whatever she wants with her. We don't need that kind of money anyway." He Yujuan supported herself with her walking stick as she watched the figure disappear into the distance. She said with disdain, "It's good that she's left. She was never one of us anyway. Chun, don't you call her sister anymore. She isn't fit to be your sister. Go and get changed. You'll have to make good your chance later, when we're at Waterside Loft." There was always someone more outstanding out there. Although the Qiao family was considered rather powerful in Rao City, they were still inferior in status compared to the Jiang and Tang families. Xiao Nian couldn't hear them clearly anymore, but she could detect the joy in Xiao Chen's voice, and the happiness of the Qiao family collectively. It was a hot day, and the tar road was heating up. There was practically nobody outside except a few elderly people seeking shade under some large trees. Beyond the rose garden, a black Volkswagen was parked by the roadside. Jiangli glanced at his watch. It had been about half an hour, but no one was walking out of the villa yet. He wound down the car window and peered outwards impatiently. The warm air from outside poured in, and the man in the back seat quickly ordered, "Shut the window." It wasn't a loud voice, but the tone was unmistakably firm and held a certain oppressive power that was impossible to ignore. Zhangli quickly turned around and then wound the window back up. "Master Wang, how are you not anxious about her? I should have been here the day before, but you made me fetch you from some other city. That's why we're here only today. My boss already called me earlier today to ask what went wrong. He said that I had to bring her home today, or else I'm not to return." Yi Wangchuan hadn't slept in 3 days and was having a headache now. The constant nagging of the man in the front seat annoyed him further. He leaned back and glanced at the man, saying hoarsely, "She's also my fiancée." Those few words silenced the car. The Jiang family had been doing rather well about 3 generations back, but they were still worlds apart from the Yi family. He had grown up with Yi Wangchuan, but over the years he gradually understood that he and Yi Wangchuan were different. The Yi family was different too. In this generation, the most pampered one in the Yi family was the crown prince in the car now. If it wasn't for his boss's connections, Yi Wangchuan's fiancée wouldn't have had anything to do with their family. There was some worry in his eyes now. His young cousin had gone missing for over 10 years, and based on his investigation, she hadn't seemed to be an outstanding figure. What if she wasn't compatible with Master Wang? "She's out." Jiang Li saw a figure emerge from the villa. "I think that's her. I'll go take a look." Jiang Li undid his seatbelt and got off immediately. The petite figure was getting closer to him. Those fair legs caught his eyes first. They were so slim and slender, and so very fair. Jiang Li had seen tons of beauties in the entertainment circle, but he was still awed by her. The girl approaching him seemed to be about 17 or 18 years old, and her veins could almost be seen under the bright light. Her skin was so fair and her eyes so dark. Under that veil of coldness was a sort of wild spirit being suppressed. Even after he'd seen countless beautiful women, he couldn't deny that she was a beauty. Chapter 3. So it's a hidden big boss. His mother had mentioned before that his second aunt used to be much prettier than all the current female celebrities when she was younger. Back then, he thought that his mother had no idea what she was talking about. But he trusted her now. What a slap to his own face. She was so beautiful. On the other side, Xiao Nian was talking to someone on the phone. "Damn, the Qiao family really chased you out? They're terrible. They used you in exchange for your sister's life, and even guilt-tripped you by claiming to be your kin. And now they're chasing you out the moment they no longer see a use for you. Had you known, you shouldn't have done so much to treat Xiao Chen's illness. They don't know that if it wasn't for you, Xiao Chen wouldn't even be able to live past 20. They think that hemophilia is a flu or something, and can be treated with just a pill." Xiao Nian saw someone walking towards her now. She casually said on the phone, "No matter what, the Qiao family did raise me. I've repaid them by treating Xiao Chen. Now we have nothing to do with each other." The person on the line sounded indignant. "Don't you know how much you've helped the Qiao family all these years? If it wasn't for you, Xiao Weiman would never have been able to expand his family from Rao City to the capital. He's too dumb for that. And that younger sister of yours, you gave her tuition and helped her with her tunes. That family made you do everything possible. I used to think that they were your biological family members, but were simply biased towards your sister. Then, when I found out that they were actually not related to you, I realized how shameless they were. They knew full well that you weren't related to them by blood, and still took advantage of you without treating you like family." Xiao Nian smiled, knowing that everything the other party said was accurate. "I know all about it." Xiao Nian saw that Jiang Li was approaching and lowered her volume. "I have something else to attend to. I'll hang up first." "Where are you staying tonight? Do you need me to fetch you from Rao City?" "No need. My family is coming to get me." Ads by Pub Future. "You're really going to look for your biological parents?" Xiao Nian looked rather nonchalant as she said, "I need to know my roots at least. Who I am and where I come from." The person on the line went quiet. Xiao Nian didn't want to guess what he was thinking and simply said, "Bye." She hung up and kept her cell phone in her pocket before Jiang Li got to her. Everyone liked pretty people and things. Jiang Li happily took her stuff and carried them for her. "Nian Nian, am I right? I'm your cousin Jiang Li. Just calling me second brother will do." Xiao Nian looked up at him. Jiang Li was tall and rather good-looking, with a smile that made him look approachable. Some of his hair was highlighted in a bright purple, giving him a unique personality in his simple elegance. She felt like she'd seen this face before. Xiao Nian wasn't one who remembered faces well. If someone wasn't important enough to her, she'd just forget them. Nice to meet you, I'm Xiao Nian. She greeted him politely. So far, she seemed rather obedient and sweet, at least to Jiang Li. Grandpa's legs aren't in a very good condition, and he can't take a plane, so he got me to pick you up. He's taking a train, and will arrive later. Your dad and my parents have reserved a place at Waterside Loft, and they should be there by now. Let's head there. Jiang Li smiled as he spoke to her. Nian, I've got another friend in the car. He'll be joining us later. I hope you don't mind. Chapter 4, 2 million yuan. Xiao Nian evaded his hand, and did not seem to want his help with her bags. She kept a step behind him as they headed to the car and responded, I don't mind. Jiang Li looked at his empty hands, and then at his young cousin. He seemed a little confused. How had she evaded him? He hadn't seen it clearly. Jiang Li didn't think too much about it, and opened the door to the back seat for her. It's warm outside, get in first. Xiao Nian had no idea what her biological parents looked like, and who they were. She simply put her information up on a website for parents to look for their lost children. It didn't take long for someone to contact her. Xiao Weiman did the rest after she was contacted. Xiao Chun had even accidentally revealed to her that her parents were teachers from Luoha County. Xiao Nian looked up at the sky, and then kept her gaze. She knew this car model. Tang Jin had told her that the car itself cost 2 million yuan. This car even had a sky roof, and would cost at least 3.8 million yuan. Xiao Nian raised her brow. The car that Xiao Weiman got 2 years back was just 5 million yuan. Just who was this grandfather she had in Luoha County? The cool air hit her the moment she entered the car, and she saw the friend, who was joining them for a meal later. The man seemed to be in his early 20s, and appeared a little cold. There was no brand logo on his shirt, but the workmanship was fantastic. The shirt fit him perfectly. The gold buttons reflected the sunlight beautifully, and there didn't seem to be a single wrinkle on his top. He looked like someone difficult to get along with. But there were several beaded bracelets around his wrist, bringing about a faint scent of sandalwood in the car. He was a strong Buddhist? Jiang Li introduced him to her. Nian, he's my friend Yi Wangchuan. You can call him Brother Yi. Xiao Nian glanced at him again. The car had huge leg room, but this man's long legs seemed to be in an awkward position. Xiao Nian felt his gaze on her, and greeted him Brother Yi, with her head down. Yi Wangchuan seemed surprised to hear how meekly she greeted him. He looked at the girl sitting by his side. Her skin was so fair. When she looked up again and peered out the car window, he could see her beautiful lashes curled upwards. She was such a sweet little girl. Jiang Li found a topic to engage her with every now and then, for fear that she'd feel awkward in the car. He also tried to introduce her family background to her. Only the man sitting right beside her kept silent the whole time. But he was like a resting lion. Quiet as he was, his presence was impossible to ignore. They arrived at their destination pretty soon. Waterside Loft was situated in the city center on prime land. It was in the busiest area possible, but had a great view of the greenery as well. Waterside Loft provided some quiet in the otherwise busy environment. Hence, it was a popular choice. I'll park the car. Jiang Li stopped the car at the entrance and said to the man behind, Master Wang, I've booked the private room. You can take Nian there first. I'll go over once I've parked the car. Xiao Nian finally heard the man beside her speak. Let's go. Chapter 5, The Truly Wealthy. Xiao Nian thought about it, and then followed behind him. Waterside Loft was huge, but that man seemed very familiar with the place. He had long legs, but she kept pace with him. Her head was hurting a little as she grabbed her bag. She set out to look for her biological parents just to find out who they were. But now it seemed like she had fallen into some deep trouble. Xiao Nian. She was busy catching up with the man when she heard a familiar and shocked voice. She looked up and saw a group of people standing in the dim area. Xiao Weiman, Mother Qiao, Xiao Chun, and old Madame Qiao were all standing around there. Besides the Qiao family, Fu Gu and Madame Fu were around too. There were 2 other women by the side in traditional outfits, and the younger one had her arm hooked around the older one. The older woman had a head of white hair and a jade-beaded necklace. Her red dress emphasized her elegance and class. She was now turning to talk to the people around her, seemingly asking who Xiao Nian was. The The Chow family members had interesting expressions upon seeing Chow Nian. "What are you doing here?" Chow Weiman approached her in quick strides. His voice was low, but there was a hint of frustration in it. When Chow Nian rejected his money, he still felt that she had an admirable character. Who knew that she actually followed them all the way here? Chow Chun was going to formally be an apprentice to a master. The Fu family members were there to witness it as well. Chow Weiman didn't want her to make things ugly later on, so he suppressed his anger and said, "Nian Nian, your mom and grandma and I didn't chase you out. It was you who chose to put your information online in search of your biological parents. Now that you found them, why are you here to cause trouble again?" He'd thought that Chow Nian overheard their appointment at Waterside Loft and decided to come along as well. He didn't see Yi Wangchuan when he took his wallet out and asked, "Did you think it through and decide that you still want the 10,000 yuan?" He looked for the bank card in his wallet, all ready to hand it to her. Chow Nian looked at how impatient he looked and was about to say something. But before she said a word, a hand reached across her and slipped the bank card back into Chow Weiman's wallet. The man's hand then grabbed hers and he said, "Let's go, Grandpa Yi is waiting for you." Chow Nian was stunned for a moment. Anyone who knew her would know that she hated others touching her. The last time someone did that, she beat that person up and caused him to lie in hospital for 3 whole months. She could feel his warm palm on her hand and was hyper-aware of the sweat from his touch. She looked up at him. Did he really need to touch her? Chow Nian thought of shaking him off, but chose to swallow her words when she realized that the Chow family was still watching. She couldn't even be bothered to look at Chow Weiman again. She simply went and under the watchful eyes of the Chows, headed into the private room with him. The Chows were in shock. Waterside Loft was different from other restaurants. It was way more popular and difficult to get a table here. They had to pull strings in order to get a reservation for tonight. And all they got was an ordinary cubicle. The one that Chow Nian and the young man went into was a private room. That said enough about their difference in status. Chapter 6. Professor of Tsinghua University briefly introduced himself as teacher. Xiao Chen couldn't help but hold He Yujuan's hand tightly. Her eyes followed the direction where Chow Nian went and she mumbled, "Grandma, did you hear what he said? I think sister's biological grandfather is in that room." Weren't Chow Nian's whole family from the countryside? How could they afford to book a private room in Waterside Loft? Everyone in the Chow family thought of this, and their faces darkened. Since there were outsiders around, they had to put their doubts aside and follow the attendant to the room they booked. In the private room, Yi Wangchuan opened the door and saw several people inside. She followed him inside. The man in the wheelchair saw her and immediately became teary. He quickly gestured for people to push him over. He held Qian Nian's hand excitedly, and his eyes became wet before he even spoke. "You're Nian Nian? Child, it has been so many years. Grandpa has finally found you. I was afraid that I wouldn't be able to see you before I leave. If we were unable to find you, how could I account to your late mum?" Xiao Nian looked at his gray hair. The emotions on the old man's face didn't seem fake. Those fierce eyes were so teary at that moment, revealing how emotional he was. Even those hands holding her were trembling. She had never felt this way before. Her emotions were as tumultuous as the old man babbling while holding her. Old Master Jiang, someone with much life experience, quickly controlled his emotions. Holding Xiao Nian's hands, he started introducing her to the members of the house. "Nian Nian, this is your dad Jiang Zongjin. He's currently a teacher." Yi Wangchuan raised his brows while watching Old Master introduce him. Old Master briefly introduced him, professor of Tsinghua University, as a teacher. Xiao Nian saw a man in a tunic with red eyes and fists clenched as he tried to hold back his emotions. The concept of a father was blurry to her, but Old Master was trying to get her to call him father. She pursed his lips, looked at the middle-aged man, and called out, "Dad." "Hey!" The middle-aged man's eyes immediately turned red. He quickly turned his head away to hide his emotions. Old Master Jiang heaved a sigh of relief and continued to introduce her to other members of the family. "That's your second uncle and aunt, and your elder sister Xian Ro. Your second uncle has a business of his own, and Xian Ro is around the same age as you. You have seen her brother before. He's Jiangli." Xiao Nian looked at them. The girl and her mom looked indifferent, while the man greeted her kindly. "Uncle Auntie." Xiao Nian called out. Old Master Jiang's face was full of joy. He didn't expect Xiao Nian to fit in immediately. He was satisfied as long as she didn't resist the idea. Xianji held Xiao Nian's hand and asked, "Are you hungry? You haven't eaten lunch, right? Quickly come here. Zongjin, get the service staff to serve the food." All right. The family at the dining table enjoyed themselves. An old master kept offering her food, while asking about her life in the past. Xiao Nian answered everything he asked. Even though her answers were brief, they were sincere. Chapter 7. Studying in Rao City High School. Old Master Jiang hesitated. "Nian Nian, I heard that you have dropped out of school for a year. Aren't you in your third year of high school? Have you thought of which high school to attend? Do you have any particular school in mind?" High school. Xiao Nian was originally focused on drinking her soup. After hearing him, she immediately looked down. If Old Master didn't mention it, she wouldn't even have thought of it. To her, high school and university were merely just words on a piece of paper. She never needed such things. Xiao Nian pondered for a moment and shook her head. "I haven't thought about it yet." Jiang Xinro thought that she avoided the question because her results were poor and could not get into a high school, so she sneered in her heart. Grandpa was so ridiculous for asking which school she's looking at. "Do you think you can get into any school you want?" Ads by Pub Future. Yi Wangchuan looked at Xiao Nian, who was eating quietly. He leaned against the back of his chair and said casually, "Rao City High School is not bad." Rao City High School? Old Master Jiang was stunned, as his original intention was to bring Xiao Nian back to Beijing to study. He then realized that Xiao Nian was also Yi Wangchuan's fiancée. If Xiao Nian were to go back to Beijing, he may not be able to protect her, as the people in Beijing were more complicated. After thinking about it, Old Master Jiang agreed. Rao City High School isn't bad, the teaching standard is fine. Nian Nian, what do you think? Rao City High School? Xiao Nian pursed her lips, as she didn't want to stay in Rao City. However, once she met Old Master's eager eyes, she nodded uncontrollably. "I'm fine with anything." "All right. Rao City High School then." He was recuperating in Beijing, and Zongjin was working in Beijing as well. If Xiao Nian were to stay in Rao City, the second family would have to help to take care of her. He turned to Jiang Xinro and them, frowned and said, "Your second brother has a house in Rao City. For your last year of high school, you can stay there temporarily." Other than Jiang Li, the rest of them didn't look happy when they heard that. Although Jiang Li had a house of his own, Old Master's arrangement seemed to be openly guarding against them. As Jiang Xinro was still young, she couldn't hide her emotions and curled her lips to express her dissatisfaction. Jiang Zhongnan looked a little awkward, while Tang Wenru sat gracefully at the side, but her expression was disdainful after being involved in such a matter. Ads by Pub Future. Yi Wangchuan said indifferently, "I'll be staying in Rao City for a while, so I can take care of her." Xiao Nian quickly raised her head to look at him, coincidentally making eye contact with a certain person. This gaze, she quickly looked away, almost choking on her soup. In another room, Xiao Chun, Xiao Weiman, and the family were distracted during their meal, as they kept thinking about what happened with Xiao Nian. After talking about it a few times, they started to digress. Fortunately, He Yujuan and Tang Wei's ties were strong. It was confirmed that Xiao Chun could enter the humanities school after the college entrance examination. Therefore, Xiao Chun's unsettled heart finally felt better. All the guests were happy after the meal. He Yujuan, Xiao Weiman, and Madame Fu sent Tang Wei and her daughter off while Xiao Chun followed behind. After leaving Waterside Loft, Fu Ge walked beside Xiao Chun. He noticed that she looked pale and distracted and asked, "What's wrong?" Looking at his resolute eyebrows, Xiao Chun bit her lip and shook her head. "Nothing, I just have a slight headache." Chapter 8. Trashy younger sister was acting frail again. She was frail since young, so Fu Ge didn't give much thought to it. He glanced at the adults and then asked, "Do you need to head to the hospital?" Xiao Chun stopped him immediately, as she wasn't really feeling unwell. She then hesitantly said, "It's all right, Brother Ge. I had this issue for quite a while already. It could have been caused by the still air indoors. I should feel better after getting some fresh air." Fu Ge had a look of concern on his face, as he tried to soothe her breathing. He gently spoke, "You should have told me if you weren't feeling well. Auntie Tang wouldn't mind it." Xiao Chun stared at his handsome face. She immediately felt that her bad mood caused by Xiao Nian disappeared. She held his hands and answered, "All right." She remembered something then and asked, "I saw elder sister just now. Why was she at Waterside Loft?" I recalled Dad saying that her biological parents are from Luaha County. Only one train heads there every day. Could it be that she couldn't get the tickets? Fuga frowned as he heard that. He took a look at Waterside Loft, but he didn't put much thought into it and answered, "It could be." Xiao Chen bit on her lip and said hesitantly, "Older sister had a fight with Grandma before she left. She even rejected the money that Dad wanted to give her. She must have thought that we wanted to chase her away. What about our relationship? Brother Gu, I shouldn't have fought older sister for you. It has nothing to do with you." Fu Gu immediately answered as he saw that she was close to tears. "I fell in love with you first. Xiao Nian should give us her blessings." Xiao Chen was frail from a young age. This was the first time that she was so determined, and it was to get together with him. He must be responsible for her. Xiao Chen was so frail that he couldn't bear to let anyone else take care of her. He could only feel sorry for Xiao Nian. All right. When Xiao Chen saw the cold look on Fu Ji's face when he spoke about Xiao Nian, she felt better. But she was still worried about the reason for Xiao Nian being at the Waterside Loft. Hopefully, it was just a coincidence like what Grandma said. She calmed down and smiled. Suddenly she saw someone. Xiao Nian. Xiao Nian was wearing the same clothes in the afternoon. A jacket over a striped top, and a pair of light blue jeans shorts that showed off her long legs. She didn't have any makeup on, but her natural good looks attracted everyone. Fu Ge saw Xiao Nian as well. He was so shocked that he exclaimed, "Xiao Nian!" Other than Xiao Nian, he also saw others. Xiao Weiman was walking ahead of them, but when he heard what they said, he stopped in his tracks and looked at them. Tang Wei was holding on to her daughter for support. She was initially walking in front, but she stopped talking to He Yujuan after she saw someone. She immediately asked her daughter to bring her to Old Master Jiang. She then greeted him happily. "Old Master Jiang, why are you in Rao City?" "Old Master Jiang?" Everyone in the Qiao family was shocked. Madame Fu remembered something as she glanced at the Jiang family. Jiang. She heard of this last name. Could it be the Jiang family that she had in mind? Rao City's inner circle had different levels. Even though the Qiao family was finally a part of this inner circle, they were just third class. The Fu family was doing way better as they mixed in politics. Chapter 9. He's just a teacher. What's there to be regretful about? The most powerful families in the inner circle would be the Jiang and Tang families. The Shun and Fu families were slightly less powerful compared to them. The Jiang family was especially powerful. They were well connected in the capital city. Old Master Jiang was a powerful figure in Rao City when he was younger. But his health deteriorated when he aged. He moved to the capital to rest 10 years ago and seldom came back. Hence, even though everyone had heard of him, no one had really seen him in person. Old Master Jiang saw them and replied loudly, "I'm back to see my granddaughter." "Granddaughter?" Tang Wei asked as she turned towards Xiao Nian, who was pushing Old Master Jiang's wheelchair. She was pretty. She's so beautiful. Tang Wei wasn't exaggerating. The Jiang family was well known for their good looks. But this lady was exceptionally good-looking. Old Master Jiang chuckled. Haha, appearance is not everything. Even though he appeared humble, everyone could tell how proud he was. He introduced Xiao Nian. "Nian Nian, this is Grandma Tang." Xiao Nian greeted obediently. "Grandma Tang." Tang Wei immediately removed her bracelet and gave it to her. She then said apologetically, "What a good girl. I didn't know that you would be here today. If I knew, I would have prepared a present for you. I have worn this bracelet for a number of years, and it was blessed by a master a few years ago. I hope you like it." Xiao Nian couldn't reject the gift and accepted it begrudgingly. After Tang Wei had given the gift, she started to chat with the old master. Everyone in the Qiao family was shocked, especially He Yujuan and Qiao Weiman. He stood in his tracks and didn't know whether he should join in the conversation. Xiao Chen's face turned pale. She mumbled to herself unbelievably. Weren't older sisters biological parents from Luo County? Why does Grandma Tang know them? Furthermore, from the looks of it, Tang Wei not only knew him, but she was also even trying to get close to him. How could Xiao Nian know someone like that? After chatting for a while with old Master Jiang, Tang Wei asked about Xiao Nian. "Is Nian Nian in high school now?" "She's in her 3rd year." Old Master Jiang replied smilingly. Tang Wei took a look at her and asked, "Where is she studying?" Old Master Jiang answered casually, "She should be attending Rao City High School. She took a gap year previously and has to enroll in a new school." She seemed interested in that school, so I've let her enroll in it. Xiao Chen almost lost her balance when she heard that Xiao Nian was going to enroll in Rao City High School. Rao City High School? Xiao Nian was going to enroll in Rao City High School. The family had to put in so much effort for her to be granted a place in that school. But Xiao Nian could get in effortlessly. This contrast shocked her even more. She didn't pay attention to what Tang Wei said after that. It was only after Xiao Nian left with old Master Jiang that she regained her composure. She then heard her grandma asking Grandma Tang and Auntie Tang, "Who was that old master just now?" Tang Wei wasn't aware of their relationship with Xiao Nian and replied casually, "Oh, are you asking about old Master Jiang? Just an old friend." He Yujuan was puzzled. "What old friend? This is the first time I heard you speak about him. He isn't really high profile." Even though Tang Wei was close to He Yujuan, the Qiao family wasn't a part of the upper echelon of Rao City. Furthermore, with old Master Jiang's connections, she couldn't let them know about his identity. She then answered smilingly, "Old Master Jiang is technically my teacher." She loved traditional paintings, and old Master Jiang was a grandmaster at it. She had asked him for help a few times in the past. Hence, he was technically her teacher. Oh, He Yujuan understood. Xiao Nian's family was from Luohe County. He must have been a famous teacher. She was aware that her good friend was a huge fan of traditional painting. Considering his age, he must have been quite good at it. It should be like those hidden masters in the rural places like in the television dramas. It was a pity that he wasn't someone famous. I've heard that he lost his granddaughter a while back and couldn't find her. I can't believe that he managed to find her in the end. He must be doting on her after losing her for so long. That girl is so lucky. I heard that he found information about her through the internet. She posted that she was mistreated in the family that adopted her. The family must be regretting it now. The Qiao family couldn't speak a word. Xiao Weiman was embarrassed as he initially thought that Xiao Nian came to ask him for money. He didn't dare to speak a word. He Yujuan looked at Xiao Nian coldly and said, "He's just a teacher. What's there to be regretful about?" "Teacher? Did she misunderstand something?" Tang Wei didn't correct her as Xiao Nian was long gone. Chapter 10. Wang Chuan, do you have the time? Outside Waterside Loft. The Zhang's family car had arrived. Xiao Nian's cell phone was vibrating as she walked out of the building. She took a look at it, and then stopped in her tracks. "Nian Nian, what's wrong?" Old Master Jiang took note of her every move, and asked in concern the moment she stopped. "Did you forget something?" "No. The thing she wanted wasn't here. It was somewhere else." Xiao Nian put her cell phone back in her pocket, and then looked up at him. "Grandpa, I'd like to head somewhere later." Old Master Jiang had just reunited with her, and couldn't wait to give her all that she wanted. He didn't even need to consider her request. "Where are you heading?" "I'll get your brother to send you there." Jiang Xian seemed slightly displeased. "Grandpa, I have a news conference later, and second brother already agreed to send me there." Jiang Xian was known to be a beauty with brains, and so was rather popular in the entertainment industry. She had already acted in several drama series before she even graduated. She was rather known even in the capital. "Can the chauffeur send you instead?" Old Master Jiang wasn't supportive of her joining the entertainment industry. He felt that given how well the Jiang family was doing, Jiang Xian didn't have to be in the public eye. But since Jiang Zhongnan and Tang Wanru were agreeable, he didn't want to be an annoying grandfather standing in the way of his granddaughter. Jiang Xian pouted and wrapped her arm around his. "But second brother, and I already have a previous deal." She deliberately glanced at Xiao Nian and said, "Let the chauffeur send Nian Nian there instead." Xiao Nian obviously knew what she was trying to do, and could sense the enmity as well. She casually said, "No need for that trouble. I'll just take a cab there myself." "How could that do?" Old Master Jiang wouldn't agree to it. He furrowed his brows and then turned to the classy man. "Wang Chuan, do you have time to send Nian Nian there for me?" Jiang Xian bit her lip. She insisted on Jiang Li sending her. But that wasn't because she really wanted his company. She intended to spend more time with Yi Wangchuan. If Yi Wangchuan drove Xiao Nian instead, then there was no point in her request. She tried to maintain her expression as she said, "Grandpa, brother Wangchuan is so busy. How could he possibly have the time? Let second brother send her instead. I'll take a cab." "Didn't you say that you had a deal with your second brother?" Old Master Jiang then turned towards the young man and asked, "Wangchuan, do you have the time?" He meant that it was alright if he didn't. Yi Wangchuan glanced at the girl beside him replying to a message on her cell phone. He then took the keys from Jiang Li and said politely to Old Master Jiang, "I'm free, I'll send her." Jiang Xian's expression turned a little awful. She tried to force a smile while suggesting, "Brother Wangchuan, you've just returned from another city. You must be exhausted. Let second brother do it instead." Tang Wanru knew what her daughter was thinking. Yi Wangchuan was such a good catch. Anyone would want him as a son-in-law. She finally said something. "That's right, Wangchuan, let Jiangli drive her instead." Jiangli didn't catch the subtext. He patted Yi Wangchuan on the shoulder and whispered, "You haven't slept well in 3 days. You should get some rest. I'll drive Nian Nian." "No need for that. She's with me, I'll send her." Jiangli was speechless. Yi Wangchuan got the keys and went straight to Qiao Nian. He sounded rather gentle as he asked, "Where are you heading?" Qiao Nian hated causing trouble for people, especially when it required her to interact with them. She noticed Jiang Xian's and Tang Wanru's anger. She quickly looked away, and then turned towards Yi Wangchuan. Her head started to hurt again. Jiang Li's friend was such a hassle. She put her cell phone back in her pocket, and tried her best not to make eye contact with the Jiang family members. Jiangnanview Road. Chapter 11. Don't ever think it's taboo. Jiangnanview Road was in a quiet alley. The black Bentley slowly came to a halt. Qiao Nian undid her seatbelt, and got her bag, and then thanked the man in the driver's seat. Yi Wangchuan tipped his chin up slightly. He had one hand on the steering wheel while his other arm rested against the window. The brown beads of his bracelets stood out against his fair wrist, and they seemed to almost tame a lion. He looked out the window, and saw that there was nothing special about the place. "Do you want me to walk you in?" Qiao Nian declined his offer without thinking. "No need, I'll go in on my own." Yi Wangchuan squinted slightly but didn't say more. Ads by Pub Future. Qiao Nian couldn't wait to shake him off. She got out of the car and waved to him. "I'll get going then, brother Yi." Yi Wangchuan watched as she entered the white 2-story Western-style building. He then took his cell phone out. He was a long-term resident in the capital, but he knew the land value in Rao City. The building that Qiao Nian had just entered was in the prime district of the city's southern region. Any unit in this area would be much pricier than a typical district, not to mention a private building. Jiang Li had told him that Qiao Nian's adoptive parents were rather wealthy, but extremely mean to her. They didn't even allow her to study at a better school. How did she know of such a place? And she seemed familiar with it. He took a photo of the white building. It didn't take long before a reply came in. Ads by Pub Future. "I know this place. It's a psychologist's clinic on Jiangnanview Road. It's extremely popular, and hard to get an appointment there. The cost is steep too. Master Wang, are you alright? Don't ever think it's taboo to visit the psychologist if you need to." Scram. Yi Wangchuan typed the message with one hand and sent it. He then turned to look at the entrance the girl had entered. Psychologist's clinic? Steep costs. He'd gone through information about Qiao Nian before. There was nothing special about her. But having interacted with her, he found that she was very different from what was written about her. He was about to type another message when his cell phone lit up. A call was coming in. Yi Wangchuan picked up his phone. His voice was a little hoarse as he asked, "What is it?" "Master Wang, little young master. Little young master is missing." His expression darkened and his muscles tensed up. He didn't have the heart to bother about the psychologist's clinic matter anymore. He started the car and demanded, "Where are you?" The back Bentley pulled out of the alley at speed. Chapter 12. Flare up whenever he's touched. In the clinic, Qiao Nian walked through the hallways with much familiarity. She went into the office and took what she wanted. The psychologist here was surprisingly young. He seemed to be in his early 20s. He had eyes that were more charming than Jiang Li's, and was wearing a black V-neck t-shirt under his white coat. Part of his chest was revealed, as well as a silver chain around his neck. The pure silver necklace glinted brightly. It was extremely eye-catching, but he was rather mean with his words. "Qiao Nian, why did you hang up on me?" Qiao Nian poured all the medicine into the chewing gum bottle, and then threw the labeled medicine jar into the bin. She didn't even look up when she replied, "I was eating." She felt much more at ease here, and didn't even care to maintain her posture. Wei Lu didn't accept her explanation. He put his face right before hers, and forced her to look at his pout. "Is eating more important than I am?" Qiao Nian furrowed her brows in frustration, and mercilessly pushed his face aside. "Don't come so close. I might just punch you. TSK killing your husband? That was what he said. But he was already starting to back off slightly. He grumbled. I'm your boyfriend no matter what. Do you have to be so heartless? Xiao Nian corrected him. Ex-boyfriend. Wei Lu didn't care about that. Ex-boyfriend is still a boyfriend. You've broken up with Fu Ge for a long time anyway. And I've been a spare tire all this while. Won't you consider making me official? He joked a lot usually, and Xiao Nian sometimes couldn't tell if he was joking or being serious. She frowned once again and shifted his hand aside. I won't consider it. Didn't we try it out before? You can't make it. You can't make it. We only tried for 3 days, and you already decided I can't make it. Wei Lu felt indignant. His expression darkened, and he clenched his jaw as he said, If you're willing to try it out with me, you'll find that I can make it. It only took her 3 days to dump him. He hadn't even managed to hold her hand yet, and she already said he couldn't make it. What a joke it was if this spread outside. I'm so good you'll call me Dad. Xiao Nian glanced at the angry man and said nonchalantly, No, you can't make it. Damn. Xiao Nian rebutted all that he said, but he tried to make a point anyway. What do you mean I can't make it? Xiao Nian, you're the one who can't make it, alright? You said you have some G*damn illness? About how you'll get anxious if someone of the opposite sex touches you. I even got the star male prostitute of Rao City out for some questioning, and he said he's never heard of any woman with this illness. I've only seen your illness once. Xiao Nian was curious. Where? Wei Lu smiled insincerely. Pure chairman falls for me. Xiao Nian was confused. Wei Lu looked at her expression, part cold, part nonchalant but still innocent. He couldn't help but feel his anger subside. He took a sip of iced water, and then played around with the deflated balloon. It's a web novel. It's not a surprise you haven't heard of it. The scenes were graphic, and the content was exaggerating. He wouldn't even bring the story back to mind. But the male lead in the book was in the same situation as Xiao Nian. He couldn't bear to be touched by any woman, and would flare up whenever he did. Chapter 13. The first sock puppet has fallen. Seeing that Xiao Nian had already kept the medicine, he didn't continue harping on the topic. Instead, he warned in concern, You shouldn't eat too much of such medicine. Take just 1 tablet if you really can't sleep at night. Otherwise, avoid taking it at all. Sure. This wasn't the first time Xiao Nian was eating such pills. She knew full well what it was about and easily agreed. Having gotten what she wanted, she picked up her bag and was ready to leave. Wei Lu stopped her. Where are you heading? Home, Xiao Nian casually said. Wei Lu frowned. Where's your home? Didn't the Qiao family chase you out? He recalled his conversation with Xiao Nian over the phone and eyed her. You mean you're going to live with your biological parents? Xiao Nian didn't like him coming so close, and couldn't help but take a step back. She then admitted, Wei Lu saw that she'd staggered backward slightly. He felt bad about it, but was helpless as well. So he simply pretended not to have noticed it. After all, out of sight, out of mind. You hung up on me earlier, because you were having a meal with your biological relatives? So you've met them. What are they like? Xiao Nian recalled and then said, I didn't interact with them, so I'm not sure. I only saw my biological father. It seems like my biological mother has passed on. I'm not sure about the cause, but I'll find out. Besides that, Grandpa is very nice to me. Grandpa? Wei Lu could tell from the way she addressed them, that while she wasn't ready to acknowledge her biological parents, she had already accepted this grandpa of hers. Wei Lu's heart sank as he asked very seriously, You're going to stay and find out about your background? Xiao Nian had no idea why he was always asking the same question, but she nodded patiently anyway. I need to know my roots at least, who I am and where I come from. This was a valid reason. As much as Wei Lu wanted to take her away, he couldn't. He knitted his brows together. Are you intending to follow your biological father to Luohe County then? Xiao Nian said. They're from Rao City. Wei Lu seemed confused. Rao City? Didn't you say that your biological father was from Luohe County? Xiao Nian couldn't be clear either. I'm not too sure about the specifics. Xiao Weiman told me that they're from Luohe County, but it seems like they actually aren't. What's your biological father's name? Xiao Nian thought about it, but couldn't recall. She didn't quite like this sort of interrogation. She replied, His last name is Jiang. Jiang. There was a huge Jiang household in Rao City that had come a long way. The older generations of this family were very close to the Yi family of the capital. Wei Lu looked at Xiao Nian oddly, but decided not to speculate too much. Xiao Nian's biological father shouldn't have anything to do with that family. Xiao Nian was done packing her belongings. She took a medicine jar out of her bag and tossed it to him. Wei Lu caught it reflexively. Xiao Nian slowly picked up her bag and said softly, "This month's medicine." 3 years ago, a type of medicine began circulating in the black market. The medicine was said to be as magical as the ginseng fruit featured in Journey to the West, and could extend one's lifespan and improve their energy level. Everyone wanted to find out more about this medicine, and the stronger powers were trying to get hold of it. There were only 3 of such pills on auction each month on the black market, and there was a commotion at each auction. 3 pills again? Wei Lu scrutinized the pills in the jar. The white pills seemed no different from candy, but each of them was sold at an incredible price. Chapter 14. It was a matter of time that the Qiao family regretted it. Wei Lu had asked Xiao Nian what was so magical about this pill. He'd seen Xiao Nian keep the supposed magic pill in her chewing gum bottle, like it was just an ordinary candy. He'd even seen her suck on 2 pills at a go when she was frustrated or just bored. "I'm busy, I couldn't get that many." Xiao Nian had one foot on the chair beside her. Her skin was fair and her legs were long. She was actually a stunning beauty. The little red mole on her slender neck really appealed to people. Some would even want to have a bite at it. Wei Lu kept that precious medicine jar. He turned to her and said through clenched teeth when he heard her response, "You busy? I see that you're actually very free. You even have time to look for your daddy." Xiao Nian looked at him seriously. "I'm really very busy." Her sanguine tone made her sound even more unconvincing. Tisk. Wei Lu couldn't be bothered to argue with her. He seemed to recall something at this point. "Oh, right, someone is checking on you. Someone has come to Rao City all the way from the capital. I think a VIP wants you to have a look." "Not interested." Xiao Nian would rather take the time to figure out her background. "They've already come all the way to Rao City. And they came prepared. They seem to have a lot of information about you." Xiao Nian didn't even turn to look at him. She said coldly, "I'm not meeting them. Help me settle it." Wei Lu had a lot of underground businesses. In fact, the black market in Rao City was under his name, including some of those in the capital as well. She and Wei Lu met by chance. She'd saved him before, and he'd helped her. It wasn't a matter of life and death, but she had complete trust in Wei Lu anyway. He was also one of the very few who knew her identity. Wei Lu agreed right away. Ever since this medicine appeared in the black market, Xiao Nian's reputation as a miracle doctor had spread far and wide. He had had to deal with this several times before. He told her, "Okay, I'll get going then." She'd given him whatever she needed to and gotten what she wanted. Xiao Nian didn't intend to stay any longer. "Contact me if there's anything else." Wei Lu seemed a little sad that she was leaving. "I got it." The Qiao family. She'd already rounded the corner by the time he thought about the Qiao family matters. He was about to ask her whether she wanted to take revenge on them. But since Xiao Nian had left, he decided to forget it. Anyway, the Qiaos were fools. They were treating trash as treasure. It was a matter of time that they regretted it. Xiao Nian didn't rush back after leaving the clinic. She flagged down a cab and went to a mall to purchase some items before heading back. There was only a clean set of clothes in her bag beside her notebook. There was traffic control along the road that the mall was located, and the driver couldn't turn into the area. "Little girl, there's security control further ahead, I can't go in. You'll have to walk in yourself." "Is that all right?" "It's fine." Xiao Nian looked at the fare and handed him the money. She had to cross a bridge over the river to get to the mall. Xiao Nian had just taken a few steps when she heard someone shouting from her left. "Someone's fallen into the water." A crowd began to gather. "Gosh, someone's fallen in. I just saw a child reach down to get something. I think he slipped in. Who can swim?" People were yelling. A lot of them were standing around, but only a few could swim. Among the crowd were Qiao Chun and 2 of her female classmates. They were looking down at the rushing waters. One of them whispered to her, "Chun Chun, I remember you signed up for the swimming class during summer break." Chapter 15. Xiao Nian jumped in rescue. When the adult next to her heard this, he turned around joyously and asked, "Little girl, you can swim. That's great. That child is drowning, you can save him." The old man's voice wasn't small and attracted everyone to look at them. Everyone wanted to save the child, but none of them knew how to swim. Looking at the water under the bridge, Xiao Chen knew that the river water couldn't be as clean as the water of a high-end swimming pool. When she saw the muddy river water, she frowned, and disgust quickly flashed past in her eyes. It was so dirty, and the current was so fast. She might put herself in danger if she went down. There was no way she would take risks for an unknown child. However, with so many expectant eyes looking at her, she couldn't refuse either. Anxiously biting her lip, her eyes turned soft, and an embarrassed expression crept up on her face. I only studied in my summer class for a few days. I'm not very good. I might not be able to save him even if I jump down. Why don't I ask my brother Fugu to come over? He's also nearby. As she spoke, she took out her mobile phone and made a call eagerly. The old man beside her wanted to say that it would be too late by the time help came. However, since she was obviously unwilling to go down and save the child, he could only stand on the side of the road anxiously. The waves were hitting high in the water, and the struggling child was about to be submerged. Onlookers called the police, found ways to find ropes, basins, and other things that could float. At this time, a slender figure resolutely squeezed the crowd away, dumped a bag onto the floor, and jumped down. Qiao Nian. Some of the girls who had followed Qiao Chen here recognized Qiao Nian and screamed. They turned to Qiao Chen and asked, "Chen Chen, isn't that your sister?" Everyone in first middle school had already heard of rumors of a fake daughter in Qiao Chen's family. Rumor had it that the fake daughter's biological parents had even come to the door, and one of them was a poor teacher in Luoha County. Qiao Nian didn't return to Luoha County, and was here instead? Qiao Chen's mouth hung open in surprise. She didn't expect that the person who she had just met at Waterside Loft would be here. What could she do? She called Fugu and hurried him. The current below was so fast that Qiao Nian realized it wasn't so easy to bring the child up. The drowning child was in a state of confusion, and was frantically clutching Qiao Nian's neck. If this continued, Qiao Nian would only be dragged into a whirlpool by the current. "Move again and I'll beat you." Qiao Nian felt her neck being grabbed, and a sharp pain behind her ears made her wince. She couldn't comfort the panicking child in the water, and could only grit her teeth and bluff with a low voice. The child's eyes were wet and beautiful like black jewels. As if hearing what she said, the child's movements reduced. His little face was dirted by the muddy water, hiding his appearance. Qiao Nian took advantage of his slow movements, and dealt a blow to the back of his neck. After ensuring that he had fainted, she held his softened body in one hand and swam towards the shore. The waves came several times, and she dragged him in her arms, even drinking a few mouthfuls of river water on the way. By the bridge, Fugu arrived first. He squeezed past the crowd anxiously, and quickly strode in a beeline toward Qiao Chen and her friends. He grabbed her arm and checked her up and down, his handsome features contorted in worry. "Chen Chen, are you okay?" Qiao Chen smiled shyly and shook her head. "I'm fine." Fugu heaved a sigh of relief. "That's good." He then greeted her friends. "Hello. Thank you for helping me take care of Chen Chen. Let's have a meal together tonight." Two of Qiao Chen's classmates immediately beamed and promised hurriedly. "Thank you, Senior Fugu." Chapter 16. That kid is related to Yi Wangchuan. Zhao Jingwei, who had a better relationship with Qiao Chen, nudged her elbow enviously and flattered her with envious eyes. "Chen Chen, you're so lucky to have a handsome boyfriend like Mr. Fu." Fugu was first middle school's idol. He had been admitted to the finance department of Qing University, with a total score of 678 in science. It was said that he was even a grassroots figure at Qing University. Besides having good grades, the key thing was that he came from a rich family background, and was even tall and handsome. Which girl wouldn't be envious? Qiao Chen's cheeks flushed and she pushed her shyly. "Jingwei, don't talk nonsense." At that time, another classmate who had come with them said loudly, "Chen Chen, will your sister be all right after jumping down?" Fugu had been the proud son of heaven since young, and had grown up amidst the praises of people around him. So he didn't take the praises of Qiao Chen's friends to heart. He smiled politely and then asked in confusion, "Who jumped down?" Only then did he notice the bridge. Many people had gathered around to cheer the people below the bridge, and no one was paying attention to them. Qiao Chen was secretly annoyed with her friend for being a busybody, and thought she didn't have Zhao Jingwei's vision. She tugged on Fuji's sleeves and bit her lips. My sister jumped down. I wanted to go down to save the child, but my swimming skills are average. The doctor said that I can't catch a cold, so I called you over." I didn't expect her to jump down to rescue the child. Fugo was stunned. You mean Xiao Nian jumped down to save someone? Xiao Chen nodded and said casually. I never knew she could swim. The currents below were so fast. If a wave hit, she wouldn't have to see Xiao Nian at school anymore. Xiao Nian struggled to drag the unconscious child ashore and climbed up with her own strength. Seeing that the rescued child's face was blue and he was unconscious, she knew that he had drunk a lot of water. She ignored her frail body condition and propped him up, rushing to perform first aid on him. He's been rescued. The onlookers on the bridge saw Xiao Nian and the child and cheered. Fu Ge turned his head over and asked in a low voice, should we go over and take a look? Xiao Chen didn't want to let the two of them come into contact, but she couldn't pretend to not care either. So she reluctantly agreed and said kindly, I don't know how she is. Brother Fu Ge, let's go over and take a look. I might be able to help. Not far away, in the traffic control area, a Volkswagen Phaeton drove past the fallen leaves and hurried towards them. Master Wang. Elder Yi called and asked why the young master didn't pick up his video call. The Yi family's young master was the treasure of everyone in the family, and Master Wang adored him to no end. If it weren't to find treatment for the young master this time, Elder Yi would never have been willing to let the young master leave Beijing. Who knew that the person taking care of the young master turned away for just 1 second and ended up losing him? The atmosphere in the car wasn't good. Yi Wangchuan's handsome face was tight with worry. He hadn't closed his eyes for 3 days, and at the moment, those beautiful eyes of his were filled with blood. Even the string of Buddhist beads on his right wrist could hardly suppress his bloodthirsty anger. Tell him that Yi Kitchen is taking a nap, and we'll call him back later. Yes, Master Wang. At this time his headset rang. Yi Wangchuan put one hand on the steering wheel and answered the phone with the other. Hey, have you found where he is? Yes. Jiang Li knew Yi Kitchen's importance in the Yi family, and didn't quite know how to tell them the truth. Wangchuan, I'll tell you the truth, but please don't be agitated. Yi Wangchuan's eyes were covered in blood, and his thin lips were extremely cold. Speak. Chapter 17. Don't want to rescue a dead person. Jiang Li knew he would be like this, and said helplessly. The surveillance cameras on the section of the Wangjiang South Road showed that he fell into the river in order to pick up something. He has already fallen in for a few minutes, and there are no surveillance cameras there. I'm not sure about the specific situation. Don't worry. I've already notified the nearest fire and rescue team and asked them to rush over there. I'm also rushing over. The black Phaeton made a sudden stop and almost hit the green belt on the side of the road. The light and shadow in front of Yi Wangchuan's eyes condensed, and his breathing couldn't help but tighten. It felt as if someone was pinching his neck, and he was unable to breathe for a moment. The scene of his cousin dying alone flashed vividly across his mind. His only wish had been for him to take good care of Yi Kitchen. He slammed on the accelerator and sped towards the location given by Jiang Li. The kid's face is blue and cold. I'm afraid it's hopeless. He's so pitiful. It seems like he's only 5 or 6 years old. His family will be so sad that he drowned at such a young age. Is the ambulance here yet? I just called. Traffic control is at the intersection ahead, and they'll take at least half an hour to get here. I also called. On the shore, onlookers formed a circle and chatted non-stop. Xiao Chun and Fu Ge finally squeezed in past the crowd. They saw Xiao Nian soaked all over, her head buried as if she couldn't see all the people around her. She was incessantly performing first aid. What is sister doing? Xiao Chen asked curiously. Fu Ge was slightly surprised to see that Xiao Nian knew first aid. She's doing cardiac resuscitation for the child. It's a first aid method. When Xiao Chen saw that he was staring intently at Xiao Nian, an uneasy feeling crept onto her. She pursed her mouth and said in a low voice, Since when did my sister learn this? Don't tell me she watched it on TV and randomly learned it. The child is still so young. Isn't it better to wait for the ambulance to come? Fu Ge also felt like Xiao Nian shouldn't rush to give first aid. After all, she wasn't a professional, and if anything happened to the child, she wouldn't be able to explain herself. He raised his chin slightly and took out his phone. I know people in the city hospital. I'll call and ask them to come over quickly. Upon hearing that he knew people in the city hospital, the onlookers turned to look at him in surprise. The hospital surrounding the city was a tertiary hospital that was extremely famous in the surrounding urban hospitals. It was so difficult to register a number there that nobody even knew the doctors there. An old lady couldn't help but compliment him. "Young lad, you're so kind." Beside him, Xiao Chen also puffed her chest with pride. Only Xiao Nian felt like the voices beside her were too noisy. Her snow-white small face had irritability written all over it, and her body was dripping wet. Her hair hung like seaweed on her shoulders, and her wet shirt was also stuck to her neck. On her white neck were beads of blood from where the child had scratched her. Red and white colors intertwined together, making for a shocking sight. Even after pressing the child's chest for a long time, the child lying on the ground still hadn't vomited the water out of his lungs, and his breathing was also becoming weaker. She took a deep breath, not wanting to have jumped down to save a dead person. She couldn't care more, and just pulled out a small cloth from her bag. "What's that?" Xiao Chen pointed to the thing and asked. Some of the onlookers also saw it, and recognized what Xiao Nian was holding. "It looks like acupuncture needles? This little girl knows acupuncture? What's she using it for?" Chapter 18. Sister Qiao's first sign of budding talent. Xiao Chen, however, said in a loud voice as if by accident, "Sister doesn't know acupuncture at all. What if she kills him?" Even Fu Ge frowned as well. From the very beginning, he was full of disgust watching Xiao Nian perform first-aid cardiac resuscitation. What was she doing? Many people heard Xiao Chen. They suddenly pointed at Xiao Nian in disgust. "Why is this little girl messing around? You can't mess around to save people. The ambulance is coming soon. Someone stop her. What if she kills him?" Many people were talking, but few were actually doing something. Xiao Nian didn't take the people around her seriously at all. She was frustrated, and didn't notice the chatter around her. She accurately placed 3 needles at the back of the child's neck. After the 3 needles were pierced him, the child's dirty face seemed to grow redder, and it looked like it was working. Staring at the dying child, Xiao Chen grabbed Fu Ji's arm in panic and fright, and made a big fuss. "Sister's crazy. That child is so young. What's she doing?" Zhao Jingwei also snarled. "She can't ignore the child's life even if she wants to play a hero. What if something happens to him?" "Brother Fu Ge." Xiao Chen was really panicking this time. If Xiao Nian had gone back to the countryside with her biological parents today, she wouldn't care if she became a prodigy in Luohe County. But she was now still in the city. What if news of this went online, and netizens started criticizing her as well for having such a sister? Even if she wasn't a biological sister, it would still cause trouble to her. She didn't want to be involved. How could Xiao Nian cause so much trouble? The people around were influenced by her, and all dissuaded and accused Xiao Nian. Fu Ge raised his sharp eyebrows, his handsome face full of disapproval. He stepped forward wanting to stop her. "Xiao Nian, don't mess around. Get away and wait for the ambulance to come first." Without even looking back, Xiao Nian said coldly, "Can you stop talking so much? It's annoying." Fuji's hand froze in midair. He didn't know whether to retract his hand or leave it there, and it was just frozen in place, indescribably awkward. Xiao Nian had never spoken to him with this attitude before. He couldn't figure out what was wrong with her for a while. Suddenly, the child lying on the ground jerked and choked. He curled up and coughed violently, vomiting all the dirty water out of his stomach. It worked. This little girl is amazing. This little girl knows medicine? People watching the excitement exclaimed. Xiao Chen, Zhao Jingwei, and the others were equally stunned, especially Xiao Chen, whose eyes widened in shock. She never knew that Xiao Nian had this ability, but the enthusiastic uncle who had been watching from beginning to end had heard Qian Shun and the others making cynical remarks just now, so he couldn't help but say righteously, "Little girl, if you don't want to help save the child, then forget about it. But did you still fan the flames at the side? Which school are you guys from?" Zhao Jingwei retorted, "We don't know how to swim." The old man said unhappily, "The friends around you know how to swim, but I don't see them saving the child. You are all just standing at the side making cynical remarks. Even my parrot doesn't talk as much as you do." Xiao Chen had always been spoiled since young, and because of her health, everyone always gave in to her. Usually, no one even dared to speak loudly to her for fear of scaring her. She had never heard such heavy words spoken to her before. Her complexion went pale, and she bit her lip, feeling extremely wronged. It was a pity that the old man didn't fall for it. He continued chiding them for a while. In the end, he didn't forget to say, "I don't know which school the girl who saved the child is from, but she's a good girl. She dared to save the child selflessly without fighting for recognition. I'll definitely write a letter of praise to her school. Xiao Chen's face was red and white. She clenched her hands into fists and was speechless for a long time. She raised her eyes to look at Fu Ge, who was once again attracted by Qiao Nian. Pursing her lips, she covered her heart and whispered faintly, "Brother Fu Ge, my heart hurts." Chapter 19. Was his nephew rescued? Everyone around her knew that she had been in poor health since young. Zhao Jingwei and the other girls supported her and asked worriedly, "Chen Chen, are you okay? Why is your heart hurting all of a sudden?" Now that Fu Ji's attention was drawn back to her again, she said in a whisper, "I don't know. It just suddenly started hurting." Fu Ge didn't have time to worry about Xiao Nian, who was soaked all over. With a sullen face, he picked Xiao Chen up horizontally and said to Zhao Jingwei and the others, "I'll take her to the hospital." "We're going too." Having just been told off by the old man, Zhao Jingwei and the others didn't have the face to stay here, and took the opportunity to follow them. Fu Ge and his party quickly passed through the crowd and left. Ads by Pub Future. Cough cough. Xiao Nian heaved a sigh of relief when the little boy vomited water from his stomach, and then took off the acupuncture needles from the back of his neck. Only her neck felt like it was on fire. She wiped the place where it hurt, and looked down to see her hand bloodied. It must be because the little boy had grabbed her too hard in panic, and had caused her neck to bleed. The old man who had just told off Qiao Chun, and the others noticed the wound on her neck, and said worriedly, "Little girl, your neck has been scratched. Wait for the disinfection in the hospital. Don't get infected." Xiao Nian didn't take this bit of blood to heart. When Xiao Chun was seriously ill, she had drawn 300 cubic centimeters of blood every month for her to continue her life. This little bit of blood was no different from a mosquito bite to her. "I'm okay." Still worried, the old man followed her anxiously and said, "You should go to the hospital and get a doctor to examine you. The river water is dirty, and you've hurt your neck. It'll be bad if you get inflammation. By the way, little girl, did you study Chinese medicine before? I think your acupuncture skills are sophisticated, not like a novice. You're probably not in college yet at your age, right? Is someone in your family a Chinese medicine doctor? Maybe your grandma or your grandpa?" People of his generation who knew Chinese medicine were very respected, and everyone believed in it. It was later when science and technology became more and more advanced, and only when Western medicine gradually became the first choice for everyone did Chinese medicine start to decline. He just watched Xiao Nian use acupuncture skillfully, and was curious how she knew it despite her young age. "No, I just randomly did it. It was just good luck." There was a constant buzzing sound in her ears. Ads by Pub Future. Feeling a headache, Xiao Nian dug out tissue paper from her bag and wiped the blood off her neck. She then absently-minded waved off the old man. Since the child had been saved, she still had to go shopping for school tomorrow. At this moment, there was a commotion in the crowd, and it seemed like someone was coming towards them. Before she could look up, she heard a familiar voice. "Xiao Nian." This voice. Looking up, Xiao Nian saw who it was and suddenly paused. Why was it her friend, Jiang Li? When Yi Wangchuan rushed over and saw so many people gathered under the bridge, he knew that Yi Kitchen must be here. Although afraid that bad news would greet him, his strong self-control forced him to step forward, and the situation was much better than he imagined. Yi Kitchen was lying on the ground with his eyes closed, but he was still breathing. He was curled up, coughing and spitting water out constantly. A step away from him, he saw a girl drenched all over. Her white enamel-like skin was almost white and transparent now, and her black hair was wrapped around her snow-white neck. Her soaked clothes stuck to her body, forming a rough outline of her thin figure. Her dark eyes looked at him in astonishment when she heard him yelling, and she even seemed a little impatient. Yi Wangchuan never expected such a scene to greet him when he came over. His subordinates checked Yi Kitchen's body and reported to him in relief. "Master Wang, young master is okay. He didn't fall into the water for long before he was rescued. He's unconscious and vomiting water." Chapter 20. You mean Nian Nian? Let's send him to the hospital first, Yi Wangchuan whispered. He watched as the drenched girl walked to the side, bent over, and picked up her shoulder bag as if to leave. The big sun in summer didn't mean the wind wasn't cold. "Xiao Nian." Stopping her, Yi Wangchuan took off his coat and put it on her shoulders firmly. He grabbed her slender wrist and said, "Where are you going? I'll take you to the hospital." Her white skin was obviously slightly injured, Yi Wangchuan saw the bloodstain on her neck almost immediately. The marks of red broken skin were too dazzling on her snow-white neck. The wound on your neck was because of Chun Chun. Adds by Pub Future. Did he know the kid? Xiao Nian touched her neck and felt her hands become sticky with oozing blood. The kid panicked when he fell into the water. It's not too serious. I don't have to go to the hospital. Let me look at your hand. Yi Wangchuan firmly grasped her wrist and pulled her palm open. There was a bright red mark on the center of her porcelain white palm. He pursed his thin lips tightly, and those bloodthirsty eyes of his became deep and heavy. Let's go to the hospital. Xiao Nian struggled to twist her hand away. Her temples suddenly jumped, and her eyes were full of resistance and annoyance. It's just a small injury. I'll just buy erythromycin at the drugstore and wipe it off. Because of Qiao Chun, she had been to the hospital too many times before. She had long become insensitive to hospitals. Yi Wangchuan wasn't in the mood to discuss with her. With a bloodthirsty and noble handsome face, his expression was stubborn, and he still didn't let go of her hand. Go to the hospital, or I'll call your grandpa. Choose one out of the two. Xiao Nian was confused. What was wrong with him? Jiang Li also hurried to the periphery of the crowd. Sorry, let me through. After squeezing past the crowd, he saw a man standing out among the crowd at a glance. At this moment, the man was holding a girl's wrist. The girl's white skin was conspicuous, and her beautiful legs were thin and straight. Her outfit looked a little familiar, as if he had seen it somewhere before. Walking closer, he immediately recognized the delicate and impatient small face. His peach blossom eyes were filled with surprise as he blurted out, Nian Nian? Why are you here? Ads by Pub Future. Xiao Nian didn't expect him to be here, either. Besides a headache, she also felt a vague pain in her lower abdomen. She wondered if she had been in the water for too long. What was happening today? Didn't she read her horoscope when she went out today? Master Wang. Jiang Li greeted Yi Wangchuan, then focused his attention on Xiao Nian. When he saw her dripping with water all over her body, his face turned pale, and he suddenly became anxious. What happened? Why is Nian Nian drenched? Her neck's injured too. Shit. Jiang Li was at a loss. Fortunately, old master and his father weren't there, or they would definitely beat him to death upon seeing Xiao Nian like this. He looked around and asked Yi Wangchuan, Master Wang, where's Kitchen? If Yi Kitchen had fallen into the water, why wasn't he in a hurry? Feeling the person he was holding struggling, Yi Wangchuan's eyes turned deep, and he quietly let go of her hand. I've sent him to the hospital, he said with outstanding grace. Is he okay? Jiang Li was very nervous. The little ancestor of the Yi family was the whole family's treasure. It was fine if no major incident happened to him, but if something did, the whole city would be flipped over. Yi Wangchuan glanced to the side as if casually, but Xiao Nian could feel the aggression in his eyes. She frowned and felt her tummy ache even more. No way, her period was coming. He's okay. Xiao Nian rescued him in time and gave him first aid. Yi Wangchuan said in a soothing tone, his voice dull and magnetic.